Welcome to the next installment of my video lecture series for international economics. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to be taking a look at producer and consumer surplus. It's just a bit of a review. This stuff should have been covered in your introductory courses, but if you need a little bit of a refresher, it'd be a good idea to look at these videos. It's important that you understand these concepts because when we take a look at the costs and the benefits of a tariff for the importing country, understanding consumer and producer surplus is essential to understanding the impact of a tariff and how it impacts consumer and producer surplus in a particular economy. So if you remember, consumer surplus is just the area above the price. So right here I have a line that is showing us the price and the demand curve. So the area below the demand curve but above the price that is being charged is the consumer surplus, and it is illustrated here by this light blue area. So at the price that I have right there, that is the consumer surplus. Now the thing that you want to realize is that what happens to consumer surplus when price falls. So if I were to lower this price, you can see quite easily that consumer surplus is increasing as the price falls. And this is quite intuitive if you think about this, and even if you think about it as yourself. Are you better off as a consumer with higher prices or lower prices? You are better off with lower prices. So as the price falls, there's a larger difference between the price people actually pay and what they are willing to pay. And what they are willing to pay is illustrated by the demand curve. So realize that as prices fall, consumer surplus increases. And conversely, as prices start to increase, consumer surplus starts to shrink. We can look at the same thing for producer surplus. Producer surplus is just the area below the price, but above the supply curve. So here we have a supply curve, our price, and that shaded area right there is the producer surplus. So these individuals are getting a higher price than the lowest price that they're willing to accept for that particular product. And let's take a look at the impact of this. If we see prices increasing, you can see here quite easily that producer surplus is going to increase. So there's a positive relationship between producer surplus and prices. As prices go up, producer surplus increases. And conversely, if we were to see falling prices, we see that the area of producer surplus is shrinking. So make sure you're comfortable with both of the concepts of consumer and producer surplus and how they change when prices change. It's important because in some of the analysis in chapters 9 and 10 from the textbook, you are going to see that consumer and producer surplus is used to illustrate the impact of tariffs and other types of trade policies. So make sure that you're comfortable with both consumer and producer surplus, the concepts of each one.